Black History Month is an integral part of our nation's tradition, in which we continue to recognize and promote positive, impactful individuals. The Sports Shop with Reese and K-Mac, Salute to Champions, would like to recognize this individual for their contribution.
Man, I am so excited.
Yes, sir.
I am extremely excited. All my Eagle fans and friends, I know you're going to love this next guest that we have coming up. But right now it's time for our 2023 Salute to Champions Recipient Award interview with another Salute to Champions recipient we have joining us this morning on the Sports Shop. Dr. Johnson Akinleye, the Chancellor, 12th Chancellor,
yes, sir,
for North Carolina Central University, appointed in June 2017. Welcome to the show, Chancellor. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing very well. Good to see you all again.
It's a pleasure having you on this morning.
I feel like a permanent fixture here.
You are. It's okay with me. It's all right with me. So,
you are a permanent fixture here.
So,
absolutely.
But you're in a different capacity this morning. You're here, which we always represent North Carolina Central University.
Yes,
of course.
sir.
But this day, we want to recognize you and highlight you as one of our 2023 Salute to Champions for your leadership and your stewardship of North Carolina Central University, as well as some other accolades that you have as well. I just want to start with just one question. Did you ever see yourself, because I was looking down here that you went to a SWAC school.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, you know.
Yes.
Hey, first of all, don't be trying to slide in there with all this shenanigans. No, it's not a SWAT school. It's Alabama A&M University in Norman, Alabama, 35762. So get it right.
Reese, I've always been a fan of the Hornets.
See, you see.
Wow. He's trying to.
No.
That's
Anyway.
all right. You know. Yeah.
But we're coming from Alabama A&M State University,
Absolutely.
the Bulldogs. I give you proper
Bulldogs.
respect.
That's right.
Because we do have some Bulldog
Norma
fans.
Hill, yes.
Yeah, tell them about it.
Yeah.
So, coming from those early days, did you see yourself sitting here as the 12th Chancellor for North Carolina Central University?
Well, thank you. Well, first of all, let me thank you all again. I really appreciate the honor and the opportunity to be with you again. I've always seen this show as a friend of HBCUs,
yes,
in particular NCCU. I'm just thankful to you for giving me this platform once again. Yes, and you are right. The Bulldogs. That's where I started my educational career in this country. And but Reese will tell you, we love A&M.
Yep.
If you ever been to the Hill, you know.
Tell them about it, Stanford.
And I had such a good time over there. I met such a good friends. In fact, we were there at the same time.
Same time, yep.
Together. Back to your question, when you are in school and you're focused on what you're doing, my goal at the time was really to get through college. Because education was so key to us. I came almost 10,000 miles from Nigeria to Alabama to pursue higher education. So that was number one goal. But in doing so, people begin to express that, you do have leadership skills. Maybe you should consider doing this, consider doing that. I was even told that I should run for the SGA president at the time over there at A&M.
Nice.
I didn't do that because I was in the class all the time. But it started there. And from there, went to Howard in D.C.
Mm-hmm.
And got my first job at Bowie State while I was a graduate student at Howard University. And that's where my professional career officially started. Started in the classroom as an assistant professor of communications at Bowie State, and from there, one opportunity led to the other, and that's how I got into the leadership aspect of higher education when I became a department chair of mass communications at Bethune-Cookman College. And so I left Bowie and went to Bethune and became a chair. And that's where my administrative career actually started. And you just continue to do what you have to do, making progress, building things, developing new curricula, and people notice that. So from one position to the other, from department chair, I became the dean of the School of Arts and Humanities. And then opportunity came to become an associate provost down there, and I took that. So along the path, there were so many other leadership opportunities, such as leading our SACS effort down there. I was the SACS liaison for the university, and that gave me tremendous leadership opportunities. And of course, as you have seen from there, came down to UNCW, and from UNCW to NCCU. So my goal has always been to stay in leadership. And of course, if you continue to do that, there is an upward trajectory that is there for you. And I've been very fortunate to be able to take that position. I tell people all the time, I think I'm one of the few leaders who have held every leadership position in the higher education within an academic institution.
Wow.
I was in the classroom. I was a professor. I was a department chair. I was a dean. I was a associate provost. I was provost and chancellor.
Wow.
So that tells you quite a journey in the leadership ladder.
Outstanding. Outstanding.
That's incredible. I mean, we are so happy to be talking to 2023 recipient of the champions, friend of the show, a graduate of Alabama A&M University. I'm going to say that Dr. Johnson Akinleye. It's interesting you say that because, a lot of things don't happen by accident, and in particular leadership. And I know personally that every layer of the university that you are kind of locked in to that. Given that, though, as you look at your leadership style, and I know I kind of didn't know the answer to this question, what are some of the things that's most important to you?
Thank you so much. As a leader, I'm looking for people who subscribe and believe in the vision that I lay down. At times, that's very difficult to find. People come in and want to pursue their own goals. But if you're going to be a strong leader, you need to find people who subscribe to the vision that you have and to help you build that vision. And that's one of my strongest suits, If you coming on board, if I lay out a vision that I want to hear your thoughts, and I want to see how you could help me to get to that point. My leadership style is quite open. I like people who perform. I like people who do their job. I like people who feel accountable. And if you're doing those things, I have no problem with me. I
like that.
I wouldn't have to spend my time managing you because you get it. And so as far as leadership style is concerned, I would say that, I have an open door. I'm very engaging. I will listen to you. I want you to bring ideas to the table. Don't bring me problems alone. I want you to bring me solutions along with it. And that is my idea of leadership. We don't complain too much. If we have a problem, we sit down. How can we get around it? How can we solve that problem? That is leadership, not complain and complain and complain. And in leadership, you're going to be faced with a lot of challenges.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the key question is, are you prepared for it, or are you going to complain and whine? And so if you can sit down and say, hey, we identify a problem here, but we also have possible solutions, then we are on a path. So generally, that's just my own style of leadership.
That's awesome. Awesome. We're talking to Dr. Johnson Akinleye. He's the Chancellor of North Carolina Central University. You're the 12th Chancellor. You've been there since 2017.
Right.
And there's been so much growth under your leadership. And this award, the 2023 Salute the Champions, is one where, we celebrate you for the impact that you've had
so much.
in your leadership and in the community. So this is the one where it's okay to pat yourself on the back. So I want to ask you a question as when you look over your tenure thus far, because we know it's so much more growth to come. But what are the top 3 things that you're most proud about that you've done while you've been there?
Thank you so much. That's a great question. When I came to NCCU, we had very difficult challenges with safety and security on our campus. And you know that, you cannot have a thriving, growing campus if you have safety and security issues. I mean, when parents come to us and leave their children with us, we assure them that we will keep the campus safe. Around 2017, even before that, we were having so much issues with crime. And so we made a determination that we're going to invest in security of the campus, and we committed $3.5 million. And I said to people that if we're going to grow this institution, number one, we've got to be able to do that. And so we went on. I think we're probably one of the safest campuses now. We put in 360-degree cameras across our campus on all of the perimeters in the classroom. We changed our doors to card entry so that we'll know who comes in. We put propped out alarms on all doors in the residential halls. We enhanced our campus security, hired more staff, and by doing so, we have become one of the safest campuses that you can find.
That's awesome.
In the state.
Nice.
Right now, you come to that campus, you commit an act of violence or something, crime, you will be ID'd and you'll be picked up. And that
Guaranteed.
assurance has led to people seeing our campus as a friendly campus, and you can come over there now and see how well we're thriving. That's number one. Number two, when I came to the campus, we also have aging infrastructure. You will remember there was a time where we had to put students in the dormitory because most of our buildings were just old, and repair and renovation was tough. Roofs were leaking and things like that, and mold in some of them. And I said, look, one, we can't sustain putting students in hotels. We need to build new residential halls, and we had to be creative with that because residential halls are not funded by the state.
Right.
And so we went out and engaged public-private partners, and we built 3 brand new state-of-the-art residential halls for our students, because this is where they live for 4 or 5 years, and we want to be sure that they are comfortable and that they have a powerful living and learning experience. And so that has increased the housing occupancy rate on our campus now. Our students want to live on campus. This semester we have 92% occupancy because the campus is now vibrant. In addition to that, I want to be sure that our students have the facilities and that they need both inside the classroom and outside of the classroom. Labs, computer labs, things like that can enhance their learning, as well as retail shops, because we live in a food desert. On our campus right now, we have more than 12 retail services.
Wow,
That
that's
our
great.
students do not have to go off the campus, from Starbucks to Panera to Panda Express to Chick-fil-A, so that when our students come, they feel at home. And they don't have to run downtown or run. So everything is available for them in that city where we live. So that's the second thing that we did. We wanted to improve our infrastructure and make it conducive for our students and to learning. And as you've seen on the campus, we also built a student center because we want the students to be able to engage each other and develop the camaraderie. And that's where that happens. We also want to make that available to the community so that the community can visit the campus. We did that. So infrastructure, as you asked, was my second big project. So right now, we will be finishing the School of Business, brand new School of Business, and then we will be starting this year, hopefully, a 24/7 research collaborative center on our campus.
Very nice.
Infrastructure is very key for a campus that is growing. So that's that. And then lastly, we want to strengthen our academic offering. That was my other point of pride.
Right.
Because if you carry a portfolio that is outdated, that's not supporting the workforce of tomorrow, you're not going to bring in new students. So I challenged our faculty that we need to create new programs, programs of tomorrow, cybersecurity, information technology, clinical research, and many other forensics and things like that are there for students tomorrow to be able to get into the workforce. And so I'm happy to say that during my tenure we've added at least 10 new academic degrees. To expand that portfolio. And right as we speak, our goal is to be able to move into Carnegie Research 2 classification, which means we need to develop more PhD programs. And we're working on that. We only have 1 PhD program at this point. We'd like to have 2 more. Hopefully before the end of the year, we'll be able to get 2 more approved. So
Don't be
those
looking
are
at me now.
three.
I ain't going. I'm looking over here.
So those are the three.
That's
Back
awesome.
to your question. Those are my three top priorities and point of pride in terms of what we've done. And there are other things that in the plan, like for instance, growing our scholarship base, being able to offer more scholarship to students who are interested in coming to us. We also did something that is most unusual, particularly in our smaller institutions. We wanted to reach out to non-traditional students. So we built a robust online platform. That's something that we manage on campus. We went out and contracted Blackboard and have them to build it for us so that it will be robust and engaging. And with that now, we have students who are enrolled in degree programs at NCCU who do not have to set foot on the campus.
Right.
We have,
And one of the most important things you left out is that the sports program's not doing pretty bad either. Is it?
Well, she asked me for three.
Yeah, you follow instructions. You're right about that.
She asked me for 10. I could have gone on. But thank you so much, Brother Reese. It's also a point of pride for us because things do not happen by accident. We wanted to develop a very solid athletic program. And that comes with building a team, a very strong team, and a very strong leadership. And I think we are there now.
Yeah.
You can see the evidence of that in this last season. And I think there's more to come.
Yes.
Because we now have discipline, we have structure, and we have leadership in that program. And the next thing that we're working on now is to have money. So we'll be working on fundraising.
There you go.
So that we can improve our athletics facilities and be able to provide more scholarship for us.
That's awesome.
Outstanding.
That's awesome.
Outstanding. We're talking with Dr. Johnson Akinleye, 2023 Salute to Champion
Yes,
recipient,
sir.
who just happens to be the 12th Chancellor for the North Carolina Central University Eagles. I want to take it up a level, Dr. Akinleye, because as a steward of leadership myself and just understanding, some of the stuff that you're faced with, some of the stuff you deal with each and every day, we talk about HBCUs each and every day. We carry that flag.
Yes.
We have no problem carrying that flag.
Right.
We have no problem putting that flag in places and spaces it's never been before.
Thank you all. Yeah.
So in light of that, I consider you to be a leader in this space, on the academic side as well as others. Give me one example. Give me an idea of a vision for you for HBCUs in this country, what it's going to take for us to kind of platform or leap ourselves forward to another level.
That's a very, very good question. And I tell you, many people raise the question sometimes and wonder whether or not HBCUs are relevant. And I usually tell people that that's a wrong question to ask. I don't think HBCUs
That's a lazy question.
need to prove their relevance anymore. I mean, you can tell over time, over history, all of our HBCUs have had a role to play in educating African Americans and others. By the way, and people in many capacities today. So the relevancy, the importance of HBCUs need not be even talked about. We have proved that.
That's what I'm talking about.
So the question, back to the question that you raised, where do we want to go in the future? One of the questions and the disparity that we still have when we are compared to our PWI or other peers is funding.
Okay.
Funding.
Okay.
And in order for us to do big things, we need to have more funding base for our institutions.
More creative funding,
more creative ways.
Yeah.
And that starts with alumni. When you look at the percentage of giving for most of our alumni, some of them are still in the single numbers.
Yeah, we talk about that often too on the show as well.
And we can say that we need corporate funding, we need foundation funding, but people want to see what are HBCUs alum doing for their institutions. If there's a saying that says heaven helps those who help themselves.
That's exactly right.
And so if we want the corporate entities and others to come and fund us, we need to be a model for that. And we don't have to be millionaires. I tell people all the time, I say, look, if you look at the thousands and thousands of alumni that most of our institutions have, at NCCU, 40,000 plus. I'm told we're close to 50,000 now. If we can commit each one of those alum to do $200-300 a year, multiply that, the multiplier effect, and imagine what endowment that could become. So we need to, you said, we need to move our institution to a much higher platform when it comes to funding, so that we can support more students. Our students come to us with a greater need. Most of our institutions, if you go there, we have a greater percentage of students who rely on Pell.
Okay.
And that means that they are receiving, federal funding,
Sure.
their support,
Yeah.
as well as the state support. But the additional scholarship that we can provide for them helps to move the needle, and for us to be able to hire very good. We already have great faculty, but in this age of competition, if you're going to retain good faculty, you need to be able to pay them.
Yeah.
So this is why we need a lot of funding to move to that next level of support.
I'll say this, and probably we're going to let you get out of here, but I think a lot of alumni, some of the alumni base in a lot of places, they rely on they get back to, the university doesn't have a vision, we've just been mismanaged, all of these excuses, right?
Right.
So I would just like to put the challenge out there to your peers and others to say, you know what, you have a responsibility to bring a vision forth,
right?
In order for for individuals to, you shouldn't have to,
yeah.
But we still have that responsibility to
do.
bring a vision forth if we want people to contribute and do certain things.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a very good point. All of our institutions, if we are serious, people want to see, what is our vision?
Yep.
What is your strategic plan?
Yep.
What is your master plan?
Yep.
Right.
At NCCU, one of the things that we did in 2017 is to lay out a 5-year strategic plan that provides a roadmap, if you will, of where we want to go in the next 5 years. All of the things that I talked about earlier, and the three, they're all part of that strategic plan.
Wow.
Now, unfortunately, you can put that strategic plan on the website. Most people don't read.
That's fine.
They still will say that, they don't see it. You can put it in the flyer. You can put it in everywhere. You can.
That is so
you can
true.
Go on the
But
road.
they don't want to read it.
Yeah.
They want to hear from
Yeah.
you
You can-
on the interview.
You can go. Yeah, you can go.
Maybe they hear from here today, though.
You can go on the road and present it. But if you are interested,
Yeah.
there is a certain amount of inquisitiveness on your part.
Yes,
Let
yeah.
me
You got to
go
do
on
your
the
part, too.
website.
Yes.
Let me read that. What does the university have? People ask me all the time, "Oh, what are you going to build next?" I said, "Well, I have almost 200-page master plan on the website.
Right.
Go and check it out. You'll see what we've laid out for the next 10 years.
That's awesome.
We're in the second phase of the master plan now. It's over there.
I like
it.
So you are right. We
like
need
it.
to lay a vision out.
Yeah.
And we have our alumni offices that, in many cases, need to do more than
Sure.
what they're doing. We need to develop a stronger alumni database. Some of our institutions are still struggling in that area. But in this age and time, there's no reason why we couldn't track down.
Yeah.
If you move from your house,
Yeah.
UPS can track you down without anything at all. So we should be able to
Anything.
do a better job in reaching out to our alumni.
That's awesome.
Outstanding.
Chancellor, last question. Gotta get a little personal here. I'm going to shout out to a fellow high school teammate of mine.
Y'all went to high school together, too?
The first lady.
Oh, okay.
The first lady.
My wife, they went to the same high school.
Yeah.
They're from the same hometown.
Yeah, same hometown.
In fact, they were in high school almost at the
Same time, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I got questions there.
but which leads me to this question. Obviously, she's a tremendous supporter of what you do. Give me a couple of the names that people that comes to mind that are responsible for you sitting here right now.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, you don't get to where you are by your own
Correct.
might and alone. I've been very fortunate, to be frank with you, to have come across a lot of mentors in my career. And every step of the way, God is always putting somebody in your
Sure.
I worked for a president when I got to Bethune-Cookman College, Oswald Perry Bronson Sr. You guys might know him. He was one of the longest serving presidents in HBCU's 30 years.
Wow.
Job.
Wow.
And I got very close to him. He believed in me, and I learned a lot from him. I worked for him at 2 institutions. Learned a lot from him. When I got to Howard, one of my best friends was the dean of my school, Orlando Taylor, still around today. Very good man, and I can give you a lot of names. People who saw something in you, people who said to you, you have these skills. Well, let's help you. You can do this. I can give you several names.
Yeah.
I worked for a woman who was my dean when I got to Bethune-Cookman. Louise Rosemond was her name. Nice lady, very thoughtful. And I was department chair in her school, and always said to me, if I ever retire, I'd like for you to take my job. And good enough, she called me to her office 3 years before her retirement and said, well, I want you to be the dean of this school. And so there are people who see things in you.
Yeah.
But it requires a hard work. Those things don't happen. People don't give you things because you're nice looking.
Right.
You are this and that.
Yeah.
They see something in you.
Yeah.
And those skills of that we talk about, persistence, integrity, hard work, passion, people have to see those things in you.
Yeah, and we see it in you too. That's why you sit in that chair right there as a Salute the Champions. We so honored and continued success in your leadership, and looking forward to seeing you next week at our luncheon.
Listen, I just want to thank you all, for this very special honor, and I have to give a shout out to my chief of staff, if you don't mind.
yeah, absolutely.
She's been a rock star, and on this journey with me, I'm just thankful that she's come on board, and we have a lot that we're going to accomplish.
There it is.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Outstanding. You do a wonderful job. And if you don't do anything else for me, when you get in that room, you hold your peers accountable for a level of success. Set the example. Continue to set the example for them.
Exactly.
Get on board or move out of the way.
Thank you so much.